امام رضا بگم یا امام رضا مدد 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 یا امام رضا تمام سینه ما شده ملک تحت حاکمیت تو تو شناسنامه ایرانی نوشته که تو سلطانی و ما رعیت تو این منم که مثل تو کسی نداره در خونه تو مثل من زیاده میدونی یه دردایی تو زندگیمه که دواش رد شدن از بابل جواده جای دیگه سفره دل من پهن نمیشه واسه من حتی بهش.
As our brother beautifully mentioned, one of the mistakes we make is sometimes we want to make Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam just like an ordinary person. But we don't understand that one of the first titles that she has is Muhaddatha. She is Muhaddatha because about 75 days the tradition has. 75 days Jibreel came to her after Rasulullah passed away. Jibreel came to her doing ta'azzi, giving her mourning for the passing away of Rasulullah. I want you to pay attention to this. Humans, people in Medina, come to attack her and her family, in her house. But Jibreel at the same time, at the 75 days, is coming and giving her condolences. And the tradition says, in informing her of the whereabouts of her father, where Rasulullah is in the other world, giving her information. Jibreel is giving information about what will happen to her children, her progeny, the Imams. And Imam Ali alayhi salam is writing this down. Imam Ali alayhi salam is writing this down. So one title that she has, is Muhaddatha, that means she has been spoken to by Jibreel. Does this mean she's a prophet? No. Angels speak to individuals when Allah wants. You have in the Quran, for example, people or mothers sometimes are informed that either if you drop, for example, Musa in the basket, we will give him back to you. Or soon you will have a child at such an old age. Quran talks about these stories over and over. So yes, or if to Lady Maryam, for example, Quran gives them information of the unseen. So you should be not surprised because Quran has already done this. But what I want you to do is never compare her to anyone else. Because the problem that we had is that many people followed Imam Ali alayhi salam as just the most fit to rule when he was the fourth Khalifa and it was his time to rule. They followed him, majority maybe, followed him just because he was the most fit to rule, which is good by itself. But how many people followed Imam Ali? Because he was the Imam, because Allah has chosen him, because he has knowledge from Allah, because he is ma'asum. Do you see the difference? You can have a leader because he is the most qualified and they want him to rule. That is different than when you elect and choose a leader who is your imam. What is the difference? I'll give you one difference. If the imam says to go into a fire, do you listen or not? If the infallible imam says go to the fire, you would listen. But if a normal human being said, you would say, no, I cannot burn myself. I cannot destroy myself. I cannot do tahluka, because Quran says do not do tahluka, do not annihilate, destroy yourself. But if Imam Ali alayhi salam says go to the fire, you go to the fire. If Imam Mahdi says go into the fire, you go to the fire. So the difference is that many times we look at these Islamic personalities, and we want to relate to them, but relating to them is something else, and there's maqam and station and status is something else. So therefore, many people followed Imam Ali alayhi salam as just the Khalifa, but they didn't follow him how Salman viewed Imam Ali, how Miqdad viewed Imam Ali alayhi salam, how Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein viewed Imam Ali alayhi salam, how Hadrat Abul Fadl Abbas viewed Imam Ali, because they view him as the Imam. They view him as the center of this world, and that they're the purpose of creation. The tradition has, if we haven't created the Prophet Imam Ali and Sayyidah Fatima, the aflaq, the universe wouldn't be created, because they were the ones who could truly understand who Allah is. So therefore, when you go through these titles and you want to have more ma'rifah, inshallah, understanding of Sayyidah Fatima, you have to first come with humility and say that we can truly never understand her, because you have to be at the same status of someone to understand them, and we are not even close to them. Just one of the ulama who was a philosopher, a faqih, a jurist, he just said this thing, and this might amaze you. He says, I'm going to say something that tomorrow, I think in the newspapers, they're going to maybe make fun of me. He says, but it is my belief. He's actually a philosopher, a theologian. He passed away a few years ago. He says, my belief is this, that the chador, the abaya of Sayyidah Fatima, the cloak of Sayyidah Fatima, he says, is worth more than the entire universe. He says, her chador is worth more than the entire universe. He has a mujtahid himself, a philosopher himself, theologian himself, big teacher in the house. He says, my belief is that the chador of Sayyidah Fatima is worth more than the galaxies. So therefore, the more you study about her, the more you learn about her, the more you see what a high position she has. Jibreel would come to her 75 days and speak to Sayyidah Fatima, Jibreel, in the tradition. One of the other titles we have many different names, and this is a good opportunity for you, those that are expecting or those that want to name a child. Use from the names of Sayyidah Fatima, use from the titles of Sayyidah Fatima. There's beautiful names. One is Az-Zahra, you've heard, to illuminate, which is from brightness, illumination. Because when she would perform salat, she would illuminate everything. She would cause everything to become radiant. Her name is Adra, chaste. Another of the titles we have is Al-Ma'asuma. Fatima is also one of her titles, is the infallible. We have Al-Hawra Al-Insiya, an angel in the form of a human. We have Al-Hurra or Al-Hurra here, the free. Al-Mubaraka, the blessed. Al-Batul, which means separate than any other lady. We have At-Tahira, the pure. We have Al-Hasan, the chaste. Al-Zakiya, the pure. Maryamul Kubra, the great Maryam. Ar-Radiyya, content with God's will. As-Siddiqa, very truthful. Mardiyya, Siddiqa, just to open this title a little bit more, Siddiq means to be truthful. Now many people will say, okay, it's normal not to lie. We don't want to lie, nobody wants to lie, yes. But when a person is truly Siddiq, it means their words and actions equate each other. Whatever they say is also what they act upon. If they say, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een, only you do we worship and only you do we ask help and seek assistance from, then I truly put that in practice and I only have ista'anat from Allah. I only have ibadat of Allah. I do not worship anyone else. I don't worship money. I don't fear anyone else, because the awliya of Allah, la khawfun alayhim, that we just read in the Quran, wala hum yahzanun, they don't have fear, they don't have huzn. So therefore, a Siddiq is someone that whatever she says, whatever she proclaims, she acts 100%. And only the infallibles were truly Siddiq. She is a Siddiqa al-Mardiyya, whom God is content with. Al-Nuriyya, luminous. Al-Radiyya, whom others are content with. Al-Samawiyya, heavenly. Sayyidatu Nisa al-Alameen, the lady of the women of the world. Remember, this tradition is also Shia and Sunni have that she is the best of all of creation, all of the world of in heaven. Al-Haniya, very merciful. Al-Mansura, assisted. Tradition has Al-Mansura because in the world she's Fatima, because Fatima, she separates her Shia from the hellfire. Fatima to separate from the hellfire. She's Al-Mansura because she causes nusr and victory in the hereafter for her followers. Nusr. Al-Mansura, they say Fatima in this world, Al-Mansura in the next world. Al-Muhaddatha, spoken with by angels. Al-Zahida, the ascetic. Al-Tayyiba, pure. Al-Taqiyya, pious. Al-Barra, good doer. Al-Mutahhara, purified. Al-Shahida, martyred. Al-Sadiqa, truthful. Al-Rashida, mature, sensible, wise. Al-Fadila, virtuous. Al-Naqiyya, pure, genuine. Al-Alima, knowledgeable. Al-Qarra, noble, honorable. Al-Mahdiyya, guided. Al-Safiyya, pure, clean. Al-Abida, worshipper. Al-Mutahajjida, practices night prayers. Al-Qanita, always worshipping Allah. Please recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. From the kunyas that she has, different kunyas. Ummul Hasan, Ummul Hussein, Ummul Muhsin, who was never born. Ummul A'imma, the mother of the Imams. And Abiha. Abiha, how brother mentioned, means here that she is the mother to her father. What does it mean, Abiha? Some of the ulama give three possibilities. Abiha. Three possibilities. Why does Rasulullah consider her, Sayyid Fatima, as her own mother? One possibility is when you say someone is my it means I'm in debt. I'm indebted to her. Because what she will do, who she is. I'm indebted to Sayyid Fatima. This is how someone is indebted to their mother. They call them for example. Abiha. The other is he would treat her as an because whenever she would come, he would kiss Sayyidah Fatima. He would say farewell to her before traveling. He would visit her when coming back. That's what you do to an That's what you do to a mother. You kiss them, respect them, give them your own place, for example. And also the way that Sayyidah Fatima took care of her father. Because she was 5 when her mother passed away, Sayyidah Khadija. The way she would take care of him in the battles, after he's injured. Abiha. Different possibilities. Another is means origin and root, meaning that the root and foundation of the tree of prophethood will be with the children of Sayyidah Fatima. Abiha, because Nabuwwat is connected to Wilayat through this through this mother. The other is we have Ummul Mu'mineen as the mothers of the believers. The wives of the Prophet are called who? Ummul Mu'mineen. You're not allowed to marry them, for example. But she is Abiha. She's the mother of the Prophet. They're Ummul Mu'mineen, but she is Abiha. She's the mother of Rasulullah. Let's recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Tonight I want to discuss this very important topic and this name of Sayyidah Fatima, Mubarakah, which means the blessed, the one who causes blessings. What is barakah? Barakah in Arabic is stated that when a camel lies flat and is not movable anymore, it is called, this camel has done barakah. It's a state where the camel is. What does this mean when the camel is in this state? It means you can't move him anymore. You can't push him over, for example. He has fully put his stomach, for example, on the ground fully. When you have a blessing from Allah, and that blessing has barakah, it means it doesn't diminish. Did you ever get money, for example, someone give you, maybe a sheikh gave you money, for example, or someone very pious, for example, gave you money, that money had barakah. You spent it on this, that you had a sale, you got this, it just didn't run out, for example. Some types of money you get, it doesn't have barakah. You get a speeding ticket, you get, different, for example, expense tax, whatever doesn't have barakah in it. So we look at money and time and other resources, not only the amount that it has, we also consider the barakah that has. That we can't count, that we can't see, but we know it exists. Did you ever have time that has barakah? 1 hour you did work, for example, that time had barakah, you studied a lot, you taught a lot, you worked a lot, and that time had barakah for you. And sometimes maybe in the weekends or something, that time doesn't have barakah. You're just at home and just goes by fast. You didn't do anything. So what we are trying to do is make our resources have barakah, have blessings, meaning they don't diminish. They always last. For me to explain this, barakah and say the Fatima be Mubarakah, please recite Salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. One of the stories that I'm sure maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't, it is a story that I'm going to recite from this book called Bisharatul Mustafa from Muhammad ibn Ali at-Tabari. This book is about 800 years old, 900 years old. And this is one of the books that the ulama relied on. They give respect and worth to this book, Bisharatul Mustafa. In this book, the story has sanad in it, so it has who narrated, and I believe Muhammad ibn Ali at-Tabari is one of the students of Shaykh Tusi. So therefore we see that he is one of the students of Shaykh Tusi. So therefore we see, please recite Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So therefore we see a person, an elderly person, come to Rasulullah. Let's recite another Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So this elderly person comes to our Prophet. He is trying to, please pay attention. It's okay. Things happen, it's okay. Yeah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So again, this hadith, this story is from Bisharatul Mustafa, student of Shaykh Tusi, and a person comes to Rasulullah who's poor, elderly, and he asks Rasulullah for money. He say, our Rasul, our Prophet has Bilal, go and take this person to the house of Sayyidah Fatima. So he goes towards the house of Sayyidah Fatima, and when he goes to the house, he asks, and this elderly person says, peace be upon you, O household of Prophet, the place where angels descend, and the station of Jibreel, the trustworthy spirit. He has heard of the high position of Sayyidah Fatima, obviously from this. Sayyidah Fatima comes to the door and says in the tradition, peace be upon you, who are you? He says, I'm an elderly man, I need money. I am hungry, I need clothes. Sayyidah Fatima, at that time, with Imam Ali, in terms of financial situation, they were struggling, it was hard for them. In this tradition, it actually has that they haven't eaten for 3 days themselves. Imagine not eating for 3 days and someone comes to your door. So she offers for him a sheepskin, which is actually the bed of her own children. The bed, how we have beds today, is not how people used to sleep. They would sleep on the ground, and the sheepskin was underneath for them to sleep. She gave this bed to him. But this was not enough for this person. He wanted more. I'm trying to explain barakah. So from there, Rasulullah, Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam, decided to give her own necklace, a necklace. And the man took the necklace. After he took the necklace, the person left. Ammar comes, the great companion of Rasulullah. And he sees that this is the necklace of Sayyidah Fatima. He gets permission, so humbly, gets permission from Rasulullah. Can I purchase this necklace? He asked the man, what do you want? He says, I want some food. I want some food. Actually, the church has some meat in it. I want some food, some meat. I want some clothes, for example. I want some money. I want to be able to go back. So what does Ammar provide him? Gold coins, silver coins. He gives him money. He gives him a meal. He feeds him. He gives him clothes. He gives him a mount in order to go back. He gives him all these things, but instead, he gets the necklace of Sayyidah Fatima. Then Ammar has a servant take this necklace and take it back to Sayyidah Fatima, because he was a very good human being and he knew how much worth Sayyidah Fatima had and how much blessings just one necklace of hers had. So he cleans it, puts perfume on it, gives respect, and has the servant go and give back the necklace to Sayyidah Fatima. And he tells the servant, you are also freed. Now that you're giving this back, and I saw this act of kindness that she's giving whatever she has. She gives her own, for example, sheepskin bed. She gives her own necklace that her uncle Hamza, for example, gives. Maybe this is after, for example, Hamza is shaheed or not, I don't know. But he has respect for this necklace. Now, this servant comes to Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam and starts smiling. Comes back and says, look, this is your necklace back. I'm smiling. She wonders, why are you smiling? She says, from the barakat of this necklace. This necklace went forward and came back. But when it did this, what happened? It fed someone. It clothed them, took them back, to where they are, and also freed a slave. That is when something has barakah, it doesn't diminish. It goes and does such a thing. And that is from the mubarakah and being blessed of Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam, just one of her necklace, just her necklace does this. That it goes and comes back, frees someone, clothes them, gives them food, and takes them back to where they are. When we want to look at blessings and barakah, one way that we have to first analyze this topic is, we all want blessings. We all want to have a good life. Our religion is not a religion that says suffer in the world and have a good akhirah. You should suffer in this world. True, we have traditions. Ad-dunya sijnul mu'min, right? We have traditions. But some people misunderstand these hadith. That the world is a prison doesn't mean you have to suffer. The tradition, Imam Hassan alayhi salam mentions and opens up the tradition, says that when you say sijnul mu'min, it means that this world is a sijnul mu'min, is a prison for the believer compared to the hereafter. Because the mu'min has a great hereafter. So however great their world is, compared to their akhirat, it's a sijn. And also this is the Jannah, and this is the garden of the kafir, the unbeliever who have rejected Allah and Islam on purpose, for example. Because however great their world is here, when compared to the hereafter, this is a paradise for them, for example. Because in the hereafter, that is when their prison begins. So our beautiful religion of Islam, if you look at the du'as, and one of the verses we read in Quran in Surah Yunus, I'm asking to see if you actually paid attention to the Holy Quran being, was that Quran says, Bushra lahum fit dunya. Give them glad tidings in dunya and akhirah. It says, give them glad, Surah Yunus that we just read, give them glad tidings of the dunya. Who? The muttaqeen, those that had taqwa, it says. La khawfun alayhim wa lahum yahzanun. Those that don't have fear, those that don't have host, those that have taqwa, that have piety, they have bushra, give them glad tidings. They have for the dunya and the akhirah, they have a good dunya and akhirah. Brothers and sisters, Islam has been, for us, has been brought down to enhance your life, to make your life better. Some people understand this wrongly, and they think that I'm suffering with my deen. It's so hard for me. I'm having a terrible time. I'm only going to have a good akhirat, only having a good hereafter. How does religion help us in the dunya? I'll tell you why. What is the main cause of failure? What is the main cause you think? I myself went to university, college. What is the main source that you think college students don't study? It's the dunya, it's the test, the tribulations, because they go to an environment, even if they went to an Islamic school, but now they are tested with so much freedom, especially if they live in the dormitories, especially if they live by themselves. They're free. Their parents are not there anymore. So what causes them not to study well? The haram that is going around on the campus. The addiction that is happening today in the US. One of the biggest causes of death in the youth is drug overdose. Certain types of drugs that have come in. This is causing addiction. This is causing distraction. This is causing someone to lose focus in their life. So therefore their time will not have barakah. Islam has taught us that these things are haram for a purpose. That drugs are haram. For example, drugs we should not use. Alcohol you should not consume, for example. The relationships between each other, it's between husband and wife. All of these things, if you look for, in the way we dress, the way we look, the way we behave, to live a dignified and respectful life, what does this cause? This causes you to have good dunya. This causes you to be a good employee. This causes you to be a good employer. This causes you to be a good student. Because you are not trapped anymore with your anger. You're not trapped anymore with your lust. Islam is teaching us how to take care of the lust and passion and imagination with the aql, with the mind. And the stronger our aql in life is based on our aql, the more we will progress in this world. So this is one factor that Islam causes barakat in our lives, because when you are way drug-free, alcohol-free, haram relationship-free, eyes are pure, you're only looking at halal things, for example, listening to halal music, for example. Your whole life is hayat tayyibah, it's a good life. It's a good family life. You have good kids, you have a good wife, you have a good husband, good grandchildren. And you don't have all that stress that haram and addiction causes. The number one problem in today's society is addiction. Allah has freed you from addiction. There's no addiction for you. Our addiction is sometimes too much dua, for example, too much Quran, or this is a good addiction, for example, too much masjid. This is good addiction. We want to be addicted to these things. So the first step that Islam does for us, it gives us a pure life. When it gives us a pure halal life, now you're ready to work. Now there's no barriers. Now there's no prison for you, for example. Now there's no, for example, corruption for you. The second part that I want to talk about is this, about barakah, is sometimes we like to blame Allah for our failure. Should a Muslim work hard in this world or no? Is it haram to work too much? Is it haram to talk about, for example, how to have a good income? When you look at the lives of our prophets and imams, you see that they work the hardest. You see the quality of products that they produced were the best. Imam Ali alayhi salam is known to have done what? Dig wells, bi'r. Bi'r means wells. Some of the wells that Imam Ali alayhi salam dug still exist today. They call it Bi'r Ali. Bi'r Ali. Imagine the quality of that well that is still today, in the barakah it has, that still today it is providing water. It was not bad quality. Imam Ali alayhi salam would have, economic decisions that he would make, strategies that he would have, that he would have people go to other lands and have them, for example, a servant. You say work, dig up a well, farm, have a garden, and then after a few years, you're freed. After you produce this garden, you'll be freed, for example. The person he's looking for an excuse to free the slave or servant, and also he has causing wealth for himself. So much wealth Imam Ali had that when he was the Khalifa, he didn't need the money later on. He did not need the money of Baytul Mal at all. So Imam Ali, when it came to income, he wasn't a Zahid when it came to income. He had lots of income. But when it came to spending, he was a Zahid and disdained from the world. And he had a bread that he would have to break with his knees. So that we can focus a little bit more. Please recite another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I teach classes as well. The good thing when you teach classes is there's a bell. So your time is up when the bell rings. Here we don't have a bell. So I can keep going as long as I want. And sometimes I keep going for a long time, believe me. So if you do not listen, we'll keep going until, I guess, do we have suhoor available or not? Sahari, inshallah. But if you listen, we'll make a deal. If you listen well, I'll make it shorter. We'll make a deal with each other. We'll do business. We're talking about business, right? Mu'min kayyas. A mu'min is, a believer is smart. So we'll do business. If you listen well, I will make it short. If you do not listen, I'll keep repeating and make it very long. So that we can listen well, recite salawat ala Muhammad. So we said that second mistake, people think that a believer should not work hard in this world. That causes us to be deprived of the dunya. Our imams worked hard in the dunya. The prophets worked hard, they had an occupation. Once they saw Imam Qadim alayhi salam sweating, farming, and we say sunlight, it's hard farming. I don't know anyone here how long the fields are, how hot it can become in the Middle East. And they're asking to Imam Qadim alayhi salam, the imams, why are you doing this? Why are you working? Let us work for you. But the imam says that better than me has worked. Better than me, Imam Ali alayhi salam has worked, Rasulullah has worked. So therefore, when it comes to work, and some of the traditions say when a person goes to work for God, person goes to work for his family, support his family, that it is removing his sins, his expiation and kafara of his sins. A person comes to Imam and asks him, and they talk about a person working hard. He says, that is not dunya, that is akhirat, that's the hereafter. So the second mistake we're talking about is that we learn as believers that you should only focus as a Muslim, read Quran very well, train your kids just to have Islamic sciences, but no. The Imam of the age needs powerful individuals. Imam al-Zaman needs people that are good at engineering, people that are good at law, for example, people that have economic power, people that have defensive capabilities. He needs all of this, because if Allah just wanted with a snap of a finger just to cause victory for the Imam, He would have done it for Imam Ali, He would have done it for Imam Hassan. But Allah wants us to support them. Allah wants us, yes, the Imams and Prophet are helped by knowledge of the unseen, by angels, they're helped, yes, there is imdad ghaibi or help from the ghaib. But the essence of it, how Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam says, Mathalul Imam, Mathalul Kaaba, Tu'ta wa la ta'ti. The example of the Imam, this example of the Kaaba, people come towards the Kaaba does not come towards them. We have to be ready, we have to be willing. We have to be strong economically, in defense, in unity, in power, so that we can protect our Imam. So the second aspect is we blame a lot of times Allah, religion, we blame me, I didn't want to work hard enough, I blame Allah for my failures. Allah, why don't you answer my dua? Well, why didn't I pay a little bit more attention in school? Why didn't I focus a little bit more when I came to work? Why was I always late to work? Why was I always leaving? Why was I always absent? Well, maybe if I would have stuck around and was very organized, I would have had a good promotion, for example. So a lot of things is because of me, I lose barakah. Tonight we're going to finish, because now you're listening, we're going to make it shorter. Two things that cause barakah. Two things that cause barakah. One of them, I understand this verse from the Holy Quran, inshallah, the zuhur of it, is that Quran mentions that if you do istighfar, فَقُلْتُ Surah Nuh, I believe, فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا. Quran says, plead to your Lord for forgiveness. Do istighfar, Quran says. Plead to your Lord for forgiveness. كَانَ غَفَّارًا. Allah will forgive you. Then says, basically the next verse, when you plead for forgiveness, when you do istighfar, what happens? يُرْسِلْ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا. The sky opens up and you have abundant rain from the sky. Do istighfar, rain will come, barakat will come. Rain will come, barakat will come. وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ, and you'll be aided and aid you with wealth and sons. وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ جَنَّاتٍ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ أَنْهَارًا, and will provide you with gardens and provide you with streams. So istighfar and seeking for forgiveness from our sins causes rain, causes wealth and sons. And this was one of the stories they attribute to the Imams, that a person came to Imam Rida alayhi salam, 3 different people came to Imams, and one of them wanted child, one of them wanted, for example, wealth, and one of them, for example, was in a drought. The Imam answered all of them to istighfar, do istighfar, istighfar, have taqwa, have taqwa, have taqwa. They asked, is it 3 different problems, 1 solution? Then the Imam mentions this verse. Quran says, for these 3 problems, you want rain, you want amwal, you want baneen, is do istighfar. So one of the causes that things that takes away blessings from us is sin, is haram. Brothers and sisters, don't look at the non-Muslim and say, well, the non-Muslim is so rich, they're the richest in the world. For example, some of the CEOs, trillionaires, billionaires. Allah tests us differently because Allah is watching over us. It's like your own child. If you have a kid and you see, for example, they are not using their phone wisely and they'll play games with it all the time, they're doing bad in school because of a phone, would you give them the latest and greatest phone? You would not. You would restrict their rizq and barakah. Why? Because you want to help them with their studies, because they're being distracted. In the same way, if Allah gives us everything in the world and I am sinning, I am going to be distracted. So Allah gives me as much as is good for me. Just how you give to your kid, as much is good for him. But if you have another kid who's a little bit older, for example, and has a laptop, is doing social media, is doing, for example, Islamic videos, is doing, for example, defense of the Mazlum in Gaza, would you give him more computers and more technology, for example? Yes, you would, because he's using it in the right way. If we use the blessings of God in the right way, the wealth, the time, whatever we have, Allah gives us more. Allah, if in shakartum la'azidannakum, if you are appreciative and if you use that blessing wisely and commit really true appreciativeness, shukr, Allah will increase you. The second part, and we'll end with this, is that we have in the tradition, bil-adl tada'afu al-barakat, Imam Ali alayhi salam says. With justice, the blessings are multiplied. Be careful how you treat one another. Do not be unjust. Do not be nice in the masjid, but at home you're an unjust person. For example, you try to be Imam Hussein in the masjid, but when you go home, you are shimr, for example. Do not be like this. Try to be, and I myself have my own faults, obviously, and everyone has their own faults, but you try to be like the imams in the masjid and also at home in the same way. You do not commit injustice. You do not do dhulm to a person. Do not do dhulm when it comes to other people, when it comes to business. Sometimes you hear stories in masjids and different places, that believer, he's really good, he prays, but I did business with him. He ripped me off. He's a crooked man. Why do we not want to do business appropriately? If you look at most businesses that are successful, do you think it's because they were the slyest, the sneakiest? Or usually they did honest business and people liked them, they had good reviews, a good reputation, and people want to do more business with them. You're only cheating yourself when you do business, you're a crooked businessman. So therefore, the second is do not do injustice. Be just to others, and inshallah, barakat will come. So that inshallah we can have more blessings of Allah in our wealth, in our life, in knowledge, in children, in spouses. Inshallah, please recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajma'in. If we can dim the lights, tonight is the last night of the Fatimiyyah program. For those who haven't gotten their hawa'ij, this is our last opportunity in this Fatimiyyah program, and we said that our prayers being answered, there's a very great possibility and chance for these prayers to be answered during this special time period, Fatimiyyah. And we said our leaders have waited for Fatimiyyah to pray for their nation. Make sure you don't only pray for yourself. You pray for each other, one another. You pray for what is happening in the world, what is happening right now in Syria, what is happening in Lebanon, what is happening in Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Iran, everywhere throughout the Muslim world. Make sure you pray that the shrine of Sayyidah Zainab and Sayyidah Ruqayya are protected. Pray for these shrines because of Sayyidah Fatima. I'm going to recite a little bit. It's a Sunni narration, but it's one that has a lot of the great hadith from Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam in it. The Prophet once was seen crying. And Rasulullah was crying. They came and they asked him, "Why are you crying, Rasulullah?" He mentions to them, وَأَنِّي لَمَّا رَأَيْتُهَا. He saw Sayyidah Fatima, but he saw the future. Rasulullah is looking because he has respected his daughter so much, Abiha. He has respected her so much, he would stand up, give his place to her, kiss her. But he sees what they will do to his daughter after he departs this world. In one of the traditions Sunni and Shia have, Rasulullah says something to Sayyidah Fatima, she becomes sad. And then he says something else to her, and she becomes happy. They ask her, "What did Rasulullah tell you?" It's narrated, she says that soon I will leave this world. And she became very sad. It is so hard for a daughter to know that her father is passing away. But then when he mentions to her that you will be the first to join me, she became happy. وَأَنِّي لَمَّا رَأَيْتُهَا ذَكَرْتُ مَا يُصْنَعُ بِهَا بَعْدِي. When I saw her, I remembered to what would happen to her after me. He is looking at the future. كَأَنِّي بِهَا وَقَدْ دَخَلَ الظُّلُّ فِي بَيْتِهَا. As if I am with her when disgrace, lowliness enters her house. وَانْتُحِكَتْ حُرْمَتُهَا. When her rights are taken away, the Sayyidah Fatima, who is the best, we said, of 80 billion, 100 billion people that has ever existed, she is the best of them. وَغُصِبَتْ حَقُّهَا. They take her rights. They take fadak, which was a gift to her, take her rights. وَمُنِعَتْ إِرْثَهَا. And take away her inheritance. وَكُسِرَ جَنْبُهَا. And her side is broken. They broke the ribs of our mother, Sayyidah Fatima. I ask you tonight, how many of you have been injured or know someone who's injured? Their ribs have been broken. How is a person supposed to sleep at night when the ribs are broken? How are they supposed to inhale and exhale when the ribs are broken? وَأُسْقِطَتْ جَنِينُهَا. And her child was aborted. At that time, look how many Sadat we have from Imam Hassan. How many Sadat we have from Imam Hussein. How many of them become of the ulama and mujtahideen and have led the Shia during the time of our quotation? How many more would we have from Muhsin if Muhsin was alive? How many Sadat and how many Sayyids would we have? How many ulama we would have from Muhsin? وَأُسْقِطَتْ جَنِينُهَا. And they took away Muhsin from us. وَهِيَ تُنَادَى. She cries for me, cries and says, Ya Muhammada, my father Muhammad, come and help me. وَلَا تُجَابْ. Nobody answers her. She comes and gives a speech, lecture in the masjid about Fadak, the Fadak sermon, one of the greatest speeches written and collected by Ibn Tayfur and Balaghat al-Nisa. Not one person stands up to help her. Ayatollah Saad cries, says, look, Sayyidah Fatima gives this great speech in the masjid. Nobody is coming to help her, the daughter of Rasulullah. Years later, One of the wives of the Prophet calls people towards war, and she fights against Imam Ali, and thousands answer her call. Nobody comes to listen to Sayyidah Fatima. When it comes to Sayyidah Fatima saying, come and defend Imam Ali, nobody listens. But when the wife of the Prophet comes later on and says, come and kill Imam Ali, they listen. This causes us ta'ajjub. Why? Why did they do this? وَهِيَ تُنَادِي يَا مُحَمَّدًا. She cries, Muhammad, my father, where are you? فَلَا تُجَابْ وَتَسْتَغِيثُ فَلَا تُغَاث. She asks for assistance, and nobody is there to assist her. Inna lillah, inna ilayhi raji'un. Ya Allah, we ask you because of the blessings of Sayyidah Fatima. Have mercy upon our departed, inshallah. Have shifa on those who are sick. Answer everyone's hawa'ij, inshallah. Give protection to the Muslims in the world, especially in Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, Gaza, inshallah. Ya Allah, we ask you to make us good companions of the Imam of the age and expedite his return with his salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
عزیزان عزادار، آماده میشیم برای عرض ادب و سینه زنی به خاطر شهادت بیبی فاطمه زهرا سلام الله علیها. عرض ادب میکنیم تا بر سال یا الله و یا نصیب کی زنده باشه که باز توفیق داشته باشه در همچه مجالس حضور داشته باشه. برادران و خواهران محترم مستحضر هستند که روزهای جمعه دعای نطبه قبل از نماز جمعه، نیم ساعت قبل از نماز جمعه در همین مکان برگزار است. عزیزانی که توفیق دارند حضور به هم برسانند و انشالله استفاده کنند که انشالله برای ظهور آقا امام زمان عجل الله تعالی فرجه الشریف دعا کنیم و این مصیبت هایی که بر سر مسلمان ها در سر تا سر جهان اتفاق میفته انشالله به حق امام زمانی مصیبت ها برطرف شود انشالله. صلوات محمدی. اللهم صف سینه زنی آماده کنین عزیزان. مادر تو را مادر تو از این خانه رفتی چه غریبانم، پاشید از هم جمع شم و گل و پروانم. با چشم خودم مادر دیدم که تو را کشتن، جرم تو چه بود آخر برگو که چرا کشتن. تو اشک مرا دیدی من داغ تو را دیدم، تو پشت در افتادی من دور تو گردیدم. امشب چه غریبانه با ناله سحر کردی، زخم جگر خود را پنهان ز پدر کردی. کی می رود از یادم در گوش این خانم، با بازوی بشکسته کردی سر من شانم. در دیده خود هر شب خوناب جگر دارم، با گریه نگه باشد بر این در و دیوارم. غریب مظلومم بی بی فاطمه زهرا سلام الله علیها صلوات. پیشخانی نوا. ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من. لحظه آخر است گریه کن یا علی، لحظه آخر است گریه کن یا علی، تا نرفتی ز دست گریه کن یا علی، تا نرفتی ز دست گریه کن یا علی. ای غریب وطن گریه کن بهر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من. بر جوانی من گریه کن یا علی، بر جوانی من گریه کن یا علی، بر حسین و حسن گریه کن یا علی، بر حسین و حسن گریه کن یا علی. ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من. این سکوتت بجانم آتش میزد، این سکوتت بجان آتشم میزند، گریه کن تا به دل عقده‌ات بشکند، گریه کن تا به دل عقده‌ات بشکند. ای غریب وطن گریه کن بهر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من. آه من بر جگر بغض تو در گلو، آه من بر جگر بغض تو در گلو، من نگفتم به تو تو به زهرا بگو، من نگفتم به تو تو به زهرا بگو. ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من. لحظه آخر عمر زهرای توست، لحظه آخر عمر زهرای توست، سوی جنت روان یار تنهای توست، سوی جنت روان یار تنهای توست. ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من. دشمنان خدا متحد آمدن، دشمنان خدا متحد آمدن، پیش چشمان تو امسرت را زدن، پیش چشمان تو امسرت را زدن. ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من. آتشت بر جگر ناله‌ات تا خداست، آتشت بر جگر ناله‌ات تا خداست، پس چرا یا علی گریه‌ات بی صداست، پس چرا یا علی گریه‌ات بی صداست. ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من، ای غریب وطن گریه کن بر من. غریب مظلوم بی فاطمه زهرا صلوات.
بر محمد اهل بیت محمد صلوات. یا فاطمه من عقده دل وا نکردم، گشتم ولی قبر تو را پیدا نکردم. چشم انتظارم مهدی بیاید تا تربتت را پیدا نماید. بقیت الله آجرک الله، بقیت الله آجرک الله، بقیت الله آجرک الله. مادر چرا رنگ از رخ ماهت پریده؟ مادر چرا رنگ از رخ ماهت پریده؟ مادر چرا خون از گریبانت چکیده؟ مام دو عالم خانه نیاز است، سجاده بگشا وقت نماز است. بقیت الله آجرک الله، بقیت الله آجرک الله، بقیت الله آجرک الله. در کودکی شد قسمت من خانه‌داری، هم خانه‌داری می کنم هم سوگواری. در کودکی شد قسمت من خانه‌داری، هم خانه‌داری می کنم هم سوگواری. گریم برای نور دو عینت، هر شب دهم آب دست حسینت. بقیت الله آجرک الله، بقیت الله آجرک الله. دیشب نشستگی سویم را شانه کردی، امشب در آغوش لحد کاشانه کردی. دیشب نشستگی سویم را شانه کردی، امشب در آغوش لحد کاشانه کردی. دیشب گرفتی اشکم ز دیده، امشب ز داغت رنگم پریده. بقیت الله آجرک الله، بقیت الله آجرک الله. دیشب دعا کردی اجل جانت بگیرد، امشب دعا کن دخترت زینب بمیرد. دیشب دعا کردی اجل جانت بگیرد، امشب دعا کن دخترت زینب بمیرد. دیشب تو بودی مادر کنارم، امشب به دیوار سر می گذارم. بقیت الله آجرک الله، بقیت الله آجرک الله، بقیت الله آجرک الله. بر محمد اهل و بیت محمد صلوات.
از جور زمان بس علی غمگین بود، تا فاطمه بود بر دلش تسکین بود.
یا زهرا
چون فاطمه را زدن از غیرت سوخت، دردی که با کس نمی توان گفتن بود. برخیز و بنشین بار دیگر رو برویم، برخیز و بنشین بار دیگر رو برویم، تا از غم پنهانی دل با تو گویم. با منز بازویت بگو، از نیلی رویت بگو، مظلوم زارا، مظلوم زارا، مظلوم زارا، مظلوم زارا، مظلوم زارا، مظلوم زارا،
مظلوم زهرا، مزهرا، مظلوم زهرا.
مشکل بود بر زینب درد یتیمی، مشکل بود بر زینب درد یتیمی، بنشسته بر روی حسن گرد یتیمی. با منز بازویت بگو، از نیلی رویت بگو، مظلوم زهرا،
مظلوم زهرا، مظلوم زهرا، مظلوم زهرا، مظلوم زهرا، مظلوم زهرا.
ایداد و بیداد و فغان از این زمانه، ایداد و بیداد و فغان از این زمانه، زهرا پذیرای شود با تازیانه. با منز بازویت بگو، از نیلی رویت بگو، مظلوم زهرا، مظلوم زهرا،
مظلوم زهرا، مظلوم زهرا، مظلوم زهرا، مظلوم زهرا.
باراگو پیمبر که غلی جان من است، هم بجان غلی بو اسم محمد صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد و آل محمد. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام لا أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنار، ولا جعله الله الآخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين زين العابدين، السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي الباقر، السلام عليك يا جعفر بن محمد الصادق، السلام عليك يا موسى بن جعفر الكاظم، السلام عليك يا علي بن موسى الرضا يا سلطان خراسان يا أبا الحسن، يا علي بن موسى الرضا يا شمس الشموس وانيس النفوس أيها المدفون بأرض التوس. السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي الجواد، السلام عليك يا علي بن محمد الهادي، السلام عليك يا علي بن محمد هادي. السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي العسكري. السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان، يا خليفة الرحمن، يا إمام الإنس والجان. أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسال مخرجك جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانهر إن شانئك والأبتر. صدق الله العلي العظيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. الفاتحة مع الإخلاص وقبلهما الصلوات.